Hey guys, so today we have another rare and limited edition video, this time for the Dodge Durango. I've also done some of these in the past for other models such as the Ram 1500s, Dodge Dakota, Dodge Charger, and more. For these types of videos, I check out various rare and limited edition models that were put out over the years. Each of these models was given a limited production run, usually only available for 1 or 2 years, and each of them had their own cool features that were specific to that model. Today we've got 7 different versions that you can find on screen. We'll cover them in chronological order, and without further ado, let's get started. We'll begin today's list with the Durango Shelby S.P. 360. Carroll Shelby's name has mostly been associated with high-powered Fords, but he did dabble into the Mopar world here and there, including producing this SP 360, which would arrive when performance SUVs were still a very niche segment. The original production run was meant to be 3,000 for 1999, but there were some disputes, construction issues, and lower demand than expected, resulting in an estimated 300 vehicles produced in the end. If you're wondering what the SP stands for, it's Super Pursuit, a fitting name since this was the fastest Durango at the time. One of the main draws here was the supercharged version of the 5.9-liter Magnum V8 engine. A Ken Bell Whipple twin-screw supercharger was added, running 7 pounds of boost, and also they paired that with a Ken Bell air induction system and headers running out through a 2.5-inch dual performance exhaust system. This would generate 360 horsepower and 412 pound-feet of torque, which was a massive increase of 115 horsepower and 82 pound-feet of torque over the unaltered 5.9 in 1999. The rest of the drivetrain was kept standard, including the 4-speed automatic transmission, full-time 4-wheel drive transfer case, and 3.92 to 1 final drive ratio gears. The original cost was a rather steep $55,000, but you could opt out of the supercharger and the 4-wheel drive system since those were dealer-installed options, and that would cost you $44,000, so there will be some trucks out there that do not have the forced induction. The features continued alongside the upgraded engine. These SP360s really stood out with their Viper blue paint and dual white racing stripes. Most of the body was aggressively restyled by race truck trends, including twin intake hood scoops, mesh grills, new lower front fascia and side skirts, IPF driving lights, and the roof rack was removed. The rear got more aerodynamic as well, with a new lower fascia and rolled, angle-cut stainless steel exhaust tips. The wheels were SEC 18x8 inch, with 285/45 ZR18 Goodyear Eagle GS tires, and beneath those wheels were still-in 6-piston front calipers and drilled and ventilated rotors in all 4 corners. The whole truck is lowered by 3 inches, with Edelbrock IAS shocks. As for the interior, high-back Sorello leather bucket seats finished in gray and black were added for the first 2 rows, with a Shelby signature embroidered in the seatbacks, while the dashboard and other surfaces would get covered with genuine carbon fiber trim. Extra gauges were added so you can view the boost and fuel pressure on the A-pillar. Dropping from the ceiling would be a 6.4-inch LCD video monitor that was connected to a VCR player. There's also a Shelby signature plaque with your vehicle serial number mounted to the dash. Unfortunately, this setup would cut the Durango seating capacity in half, down to only 4 passengers. This was the fastest Durango model of the entire generation, able to do 0 to 60 in 6.7 seconds and the quarter mile in 15.2 seconds. For comparison, the RT model with the regular 5.9-liter V8 had a 0 to 60 time of 8.2 seconds and quarter mile time of over 16 seconds. Unfortunately, this model is relatively unheard of, likely because it was a few years ahead of its time. Shelby wanted to make an exciting impact on the performance SUV market, but this was years before the likes of the AMGs, M models, and other performance SUVs from the competition. Next up, we have the Durango Dude. The 2004 Durango Dude was meant to be a hot rod street truck based on the popular Durango SUV, of course. The Skunkworks team, part of the Chrysler Group, converted a regular Durango into this unique pickup truck, and they took the concept to the 2004 SEMA show. They were inspired by the Viper-powered Ram SRT-10 and set out to make something similar. This was powered by the 5.7-liter V8 Hemi, also getting a catback dual exhaust, custom front and rear fascias, sill extensions, and a composite hood. The truck would get lowered and then put on 20-inch Budnik billet wheels. The inside got custom leather seats. The most striking feature of the entire truck was the PPG Tangerine Pearl paint. Unfortunately, the truck was 2 cylinders and 2.6 liters away from SRT-10 territory, and while Chrysler did toy with the idea of taking this to production, it never made it, and this is the only one to ever be produced. For the final model year of the second generation, the Durango got a hybrid model, sharing its two-mode hybrid system with the Chrysler Aspen. Chrysler built under 1,000 of both in total, so it's not a very easy vehicle to find. The hybrid was only available on the limited Durango model with four-wheel drive, starting at $45,340, which was an increase of $3,600 over a non-hybrid version. These were fully loaded with leather heated seats, power tailgate, trailer sway control, and a rear park assist system. The only possible add-ons here would be the rear DVD entertainment system, power sunroof, and trailer tow package. This system was developed by BMW, Mercedes-Benz, GM, and Chrysler in unison, and they used an electrically continuously variable transmission along with the 5.7-liter Hemi. This transmission has two operating modes and four fixed gears, and it would add 350 pounds with a 300-volt nickel metal hydride battery pack, found right under the second row of seats. There are electric motors within the transmission housing that also help to generate 87 horsepower and 235 pound-feet of torque. So the combined output here of the entire system, along with the Hemi, is 385 horsepower and 380 pound-feet of torque. The big perk here is that the gas mileage has been boosted by 46% in the city and 11% on the highway, up to 19 city and 20 highway mpg, whereas the normal Hemi, it was just 13 city and 18 mpg. The hybrid can also tow 6,000 pounds, but that's quite a lot less than the Hemi's 8,950 pound rating with the 3.92 rear axle. As I've said, this is a two-mode system. The first mode operates the SUV under full engine power with both the Hemi and the electric motors, and the system will automatically cut off the engine and use 100% battery whenever you travel below 25 miles per hour. The second mode is meant for higher speeds and loads, like towing or accelerating, and regenerative braking helps to recharge the batteries with every stop. Dodge says that you're not supposed to feel the system working, but it's not seamless, and many reviewers have experienced stutters during acceleration and various clunks and dead spots at certain speeds or when they're switching modes. Dodge also added a cluster on the gauge to tell you when the hybrid modes are operating, and you can find more stats in the nav screen, like real-time MPG. There was no difference on the exterior from the regular limited models, other than some badging, but it did get some smaller 18-inch wheels with low rolling resistance tires. Performance was hurt a bit as well, as the hybrid could do 0 to 60 in 8.9 seconds and the quarter mile in 16.8 seconds, which is roughly 1.5 seconds slower than a Hemi alone. This next one is another concept which ended up being a one of one, the 2016 Dodge Durango Shaker. FCA brought this out to the 2016 SEMA show, and at that point, Mopar enthusiasts had waited a long time in hopes of seeing a Dodge performance SUV. This Shaker would perfectly fill that void, and it's one of the nicest looking Durangos that I've ever seen. This Durango gets the Shaker hood, of course, which sits on top of the 6.4-liter SRT Hemi V8. FCA didn't say how much power this was producing, but it likely matched the Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT, which had 475 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque. Mopar added a cold air intake and a catback exhaust with a unique dual exit located right in the center of the rear end, instead of on the sides. This was also the first time a Shaker was offered on the Durango. The hood and Shaker are finished in satin black, and that provides a very nice contrast to the bright B5 blue paint. The black and blue theme continues everywhere, with black side sills, a black fuel filler door taken from a Challenger, smoked taillights and headlights, blue mirror caps, and a blue custom rear spoiler that gives the SUV a longer and lower appearance. The front end has been redesigned, with no crosshair on the honeycomb grille, a big front chin splitter, and a new lower valence where they've stuck the Challenger Hellcat lights into the fog light area. Those are the ones with the intakes in the middle of them. 22 by 10.5 inch Mopar wheels sit right under the custom fender flares with 305mm tires and 6-piston Brembo calipers, and the truck is lowered by 3 inches from a standard Durango. Dodge also added American flag decals to complete the look. The inside gets really special treatment, as Dodge has replaced all 3 rows with 6 extra Viper seats that they had lying around, trimmed in catskin leather with B5 blue stitching. Other additions include a Charger SRT steering wheel, B5 blue bezels, Charger T-shifter, and some Mopar accessories like bright door sill guards, wireless charger, pedal kit, and emergency kit. When asked about the possibility of production, at the time, Dodge boss Tim Kuniskis told the Detroit News that, quote, "Because of the reaction, we have decided we should look at it. When we took it to SEMA, it was never a consideration," end quote. However, he did worry about the demand because the people that attend the SEMA show are not usually your typical SUV buyers. By 2016, there had been rumors for a while that Dodge was planning an SRT model for the Durango, and while the Shaker didn't end up coming to fruition, it was a sign of things to come, and many of the concept's features would find their way to the 2018 SRT model. Speaking of the SRT, after 7 model years in the 3rd generation Durango, Dodge finally unveiled the 2018 SRT version at the 2017 Chicago Auto Show. This model remains at the top of the Durango lineup for now, starting at $62,995. So far, there's only data for 2018 and half of 2019, which shows almost 6,000 SRT Durangos produced and counting. The first year accounted for 4,934 sales, which represented about 7.5% of the total Durango sales. Again, the big draw of the SRT model is the performance, and the Durango finally got the 6.4-liter Hemi V8 engine found in the Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT and some Charger and Challenger models. In this SUV, that delivers 475 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque, paired with an 8-speed automatic and full-time all-wheel drive. It's also America's fastest, most powerful, and most capable 3-row SUV, with a 0 to 60 time of 4.4 seconds, a quarter-mile time of 12.9 seconds, and the ability to tow more than 8,600 pounds. Not bad for a truck that weighs over 5,500 pounds. The performance bonuses don't stop there, though. A new SRT drive system gives you 7 different modes, allowing the driver to adjust the suspension, torque distribution, shift points, engine mapping, and more. There's also an active damping system, launch control, and stiffer springs and sway bars. The 2.75-inch exhaust system also gives the SRT a very deep and loud growl. Dodge and SRT made sure this model stood out from the other ones by adding an SRT hood with a functional center air duct flanked by heat extractors to keep that engine bay a bit cooler. The front gets a newer fascia and lower valence, along with LED fog lights and a mesh grille. The side gets integrated wheel flares and a body color side rocker panel, while the rear gets an SRT lower fascia with 4-inch dual exhaust tips finished in nickel chrome. There's also 392 and 4-wheel drive badges on the fenders and the rear liftgate. The interior is fully loaded with a hand-wrapped dashboard, SRT flat-bottom steering wheel with paddle shifters, premium velour floor mats with SRT logos, and the headliner and A-pillars are wrapped in Dynamica suede. The seats are heated and ventilated, finished in Napa leather and suede, with silver-stitched embossed SRT logos. For the first time in a Durango, demonic red Performance Laguna leather was also available. Another awesome feature would be the SRT wheels and brakes. Originally, it came with 20 by 10-inch Goliath wheels with a black noise finish and Pirelli Scorpion Verde P95 45 ZR20 tires. Beneath the wheels are massive Brembo brakes, 6 piston calipers in the front with 15-inch rotors, and 4 pistons in the rear with 13.8-inch rotors. These stop the car from 60 to 0 in just 115 feet. This SRT model will remain atop the Durango lineup until we see the Hellcat version, possibly in 2021. Next up, we have the Mopar 18 Edition Durango, limited to just 250 units for the 2018 model year. This was the 9th edition in the Mopar series of factory-modified vehicles that began way back in 2010 with the Mopar 10 Challenger. In this series, Mopar releases one special edition of one model and then decks it out with some custom pieces and makes them in limited quantities. For 2018, this package cost an additional $7,995 on top of the SRT price. The Mopar 18 does get based on the SRT model, and the 250 sales figures does get totaled into the SRT sales numbers. Out of the 250, there were 2 colors available, 181 in Octane Red and 69 in B5 Blue, with most of them going to the US. Each Durango was 2-tone, with a black painted roof, black decal around the rear taillight, and they received Mopar 18 badges on the grille and rear hatch. Also included was a Mopar Performance catback exhaust system and performance lowering springs, and these were supposed to be dealer installed after purchase and included with your Durango. The exhaust system was 2.75 inches with 4-inch tips, while the springs would lower the SUV by 0.6 inches. Otherwise, performance is unchanged from the SRT. Inside is your choice of red or black SRT leather seats, embroidered with a light gray Mopar logo and stitching. You also get a serialized badge on the center console. Finally, Mopar included a box with limited edition metal stand, sheet of paper with the head of Mopar Design's signature with a congratulation letter, a brochure about your vehicle, and an individual build sheet. I think these Mopar editions are really awesome, but they seem to fly under the radar and not sell very well. The expensive price tag might have had something to do with that, but in any case, they do look great. The final model on today's list is a Dodge Durango Hellcat Red Eye called the Speed Trap. Now, unfortunately, this was another one-off, but the Durango Hellcat has been confirmed for the 2021 model year, so at least that should be coming soon. This Speed Trap was built for the 2019 One Lap of America. This is a motorsports event in the US held annually since 1984. It's meant to be a race across the country, but the speed limits are respected and the races occur at different racetracks. The field is divided into classes based on things like price and the number of doors. The competitors can make any modifications that they want to their vehicle as long as it remains street legal, and they must run the entire event on one set of tires. The longest event was 10,000 miles in 10 days, while the shorter ones would be 3,000 miles in 6 days. So for the 2019 One Lap of America, Dodge built this custom Durango SRT with the 797 horsepower, 6.2-liter supercharged V8 found under the hood, taken from a Hellcat Red Eye Challenger, and the 8-speed automatic transmission and SRT all-wheel drive system remained untouched from the regular SRT Durango. The car is also decked out in police trim, hence the name Speed Trap. Dodge added many upgrades, like a free-flowing catback exhaust, Cook's long tube headers, high-flowing catalytic converters, Bilstein ADS shocks, and Mopar Performance lowering springs, reducing the height by 15 millimeters. The wheels are 20 by 11 inches with 305/35/20 Pirelli P0 tires, and beneath them are massive 15.8-inch front Brembo rotors with 6-piston calipers and 13.8-inch rear Brembos with 4-piston calipers. The Speed Trap would also have the second and third row seats removed, replaced with a 4-point roll bar and a 5-point driver safety harness. Unfortunately, the performance numbers were never released. It was made clear that this was a one-off concept, but again, this was indeed a sign of things to come for the Dodge Durango, and in any case, it's an awesome concept to see and looks incredibly fast at the drag strip. So that's the end of this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I tried to give you as many details as possible on each model that we covered. Let me know which one was your favorite, and if I missed any of them. Thanks for watching, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.